for joining me, Valerie Brown, Realtor with Realty Edge here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am going to talk to you guys today about title insurance. It's a question that comes up all the time, and a lot of people don't understand what its purpose is and why they have to pay for it and why it's part of their closing costs. And I understand it doesn't make a lot of sense because it's not the same thing as your homeowner's insurance. And so it can be very, very confusing. So we'll talk about your owner's title insurance policy. So the owner's policy, which typically in Nevada, the sellers do pay for, they pay for it for the new buyer. And it's just a policy that says, I have no judgments, there are no liens, there's no bankruptcies, there's no one who has a stake to this property other than what is stated on the preliminary title report. The preliminary title report is a chain of title where the title company goes through all the public records and bankruptcy courts and all of that, and they do name searches and property searches and judgments and liens. They go through a litany of ways to discover anything that may have the property listed as an asset. And they go through and they make sure that they catch everything. And if there's any bankruptcies or liens or judgments against you, such as maybe a civil lawsuit where you owe money and they've attached it to your property, make sure that all of that is satisfied through closing and that the seller pays everything that they're supposed to pay out of their proceeds. So whether that be child support or bankruptcy or any kind of judgment or lien. A lien from me to you, and I record it against your property to make sure that I get paid. If you're not reliable, I might do that. Mechanics liens. So if I have work done and I don't pay them, they may lien my property. So there's all sorts of reasons why there could be liens and judgments. And the title insurance is basically protecting the buyer, saying that this property is free and clear. There's no clouded title. There's no judgments hanging this property up, and that you will receive this property with just your mortgage, or if you're paying cash, they'll just say that, hey, this property is free and clear. There's no encumbrances. Nothing's going to come back to haunt you later. So that's the purpose of an owner's policy. For a lender's insurance policy, if you're getting a loan as a buyer, you may be wondering why there's an owner's policy and a lender's policy, because that doesn't really make sense. But it is insurance that the buyer pays to or to the title company on behalf of the lender. So you're getting the loan and the lender wants to make sure that they're in first position. So if there are other liens and encumbrances on the property, then the lender will become secondary, and that's never a good situation. If you don't, as the buyer, pay your mortgage, they can't foreclose because somebody else is in first position. Someone else has a stake to the property before them, so of course they're not going to want to lien. They're not going to want to loan you the money, and their lien will be invalid. So the title company does the property search and make sure that everything is free and clear for the lender, that there's no other liens or judgments, and that should you default, that they're guaranteed to be in first position. Now, the owner's policy is just the policy between the seller and the buyer, ensuring that you're receiving free and clear title. And then the lender's policy is a separate policy that ensures, saying that the lender's going to be in first position and the property is also free and clear. So they're not exactly the same thing. So if something comes up and you can't sell or refi your property because of a lien that is attached to the property, you can go back to the title company and say, hey, there's a lien on here and it's not mine, it's the previous owners or the previous owners or whoever's, and it's not mine, and then you said it wasn't here when I purchased the home. I want you to remedy this, to make it go away, take care of it, let's get it resolved. Same thing for the lender. They can go back to the title company and say, hey, you promised that I'd be in first position and now I'm not. So now the title company is liable. So really the owner's policy and the lender's policy are, it's just a transfer of liability from the owners assuring the buyers, and then the title company will be the one responsible. And from the buyer for you and the lender assuring that they're going to be in first position. So the title company is taking on all this liability, making sure that there's no judgments, liens, bankruptcies, foreclosures, child support, or any judgments out there in your name or someone else's name that needs to be satisfied. That's really all I have on it. And if that doesn't make sense to you or you have questions about it, please email me, reach out to me, call me. All my information is here. I'd be happy to answer your questions. And if there's another subject you'd like me to talk about, I'd be happy to. Just let me know. Thanks.